Hey, also, I'm gonna be going through Math Lab to do the test, sort of doing their problems on the ones that are graphing. So question one wants us to graph the equation by plotting points. 8y plus 4x equals 4. Hey, also, let me go solve this, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to graph this. All right, so the trick on this one is to solve it for the y. So to solve this for the y, we got to move the 4x to the other side. And to do that, since it's positive, we're going to subtract 4x from both sides. All right, so you're going to bring down that 8y. The 4x's will cancel on the left side now. So the right side, these are not like terms. So I'm just going to put my x first and then my number. So I'm going to put my negative 4x and then plus my 4. All right, so now to turn the 8y into a 1y, we got to divide everybody. Oops, I wrote this down. This was 8y plus 4x equal to 8. So let me get that problem right. Wasn't that an 8 they gave me? Let me go back and look. Oh, no, it was right. It was a 4. And so it was a 4, my bad. All righty, so divide everybody by 8 to make that a 1y. And that would just reduce everything. 8 divided by 8 makes that a 1y. This is going to stay negative. Now I can't divide 4 by 8, so I'm just going to reduce this to a 1/2. So I'm dividing top and bottom by 4 to make that a negative 1/2 x. And then at the end, this 4 over 8 is going to reduce to a 1/2. So I'm going to come up with a table to use. So y'all, I'm just going to use the 0 for the x. If I put a 0 in for x, 0 times negative 1/2 is 0. And that 0 plus 1/2 gives me a 1/2. So it looks like I'm graphing a fraction on this one. And y'all, for my second x, I'm going to pick a 1. So if I put a 1 in here, 1 times negative 1/2 is a negative 1/2. That negative 1/2 plus a positive 1/2 will give me a 0. Now, if you want to get points using the calculator, you can put that into y1 and go to your table. All right, y'all, when I graph this is going to be a straight line for number 1. Everybody's number 1 will be a straight line. So when we go to Math Lab, we're going to use the line tool and we're going to plot our 2 points. So let me get us back to Math Lab. All right, so I'm going to click to enlarge my graph. I'm going to choose the line tool. And then I had 0, 1/2. So starting at 0, you're barely going to go up. You're going to be in between 0 and 1 to put that first point at 0.5. And then my second point was right 1 and 0. Okay? So you're going to plot those 2 points, and then you'll save that and go to your next problem. All right, so number 2 is another graph. Y equals x to the third plus 1. All right, y'all, so let me go grab the sheet to write this one on. So this is a cubic. So I'm going to, and it's already solved for y. So you can plot this in your calculator and get your 3 points. I'm going to do it by hand. Now, on the cubic, you need 4 points because it's going to use the curvy 4-point cubic tool. So number two will use this tool, okay? So y'all, my numbers, I'm going to pick -1, 0, 1, and 2. That way I can keep my numbers really small, okay? So you're going to cube these numbers and then add 1. So we'll have -1 cubed plus 1. Well, that equals -1 plus 1, which is 0. I had 0 cubed plus 1. Well, y'all, that'll be 0 plus 1, which is 1. Next, I had a 1 for the x. So that'll be 1 cubed plus 1. Well, 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Plus 1 gives us 2. Whoops, I mean put my 1 there and then my 2. And then I'm going to cube the 2 and add 1. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8 plus 1 gives me a 9. So I'm going to go plot these 4 points using the 4-point cubic tool, okay? So let's go to MathLab. We'll click to enlarge graph. All right, so I'll pick my 4-point cubic tool. My first point was -1, 0. And see up here in this yellow box, it'll tell you where your points are. So then I had 0, 1, right 1, and up 2. And then my last point was right 2, up 9. All right, so once you make that 4-point, it's going to draw that curvy line for you. And then you're going to save and go to next. All right, y'all, let me write this one down. So that's the formula for Fahrenheit if you know the Celsius temperature. So F of C will equal 9/5 times C plus 32. So they want me to find the Fahrenheit temperature that is equivalent to a -15 degrees Celsius. So, y'all, that means we're going to put that -15 in for the C and see what we get, okay? All right, so we'll put the -15 in for C. So that means we're finding F of a -15. That'll equal 9/5 times -15 plus 32. So by hand, you would multiply the top, then divide by 5, and add that 32. But y'all, we got the calculator. I'm going to punch that in just like it looks. I had 9 divided by 5. So if you want it to look like a fraction, I'm going to hit alpha, y equals, and enter. So that was 9 over 5. L right, parentheses, put in your -15, and then add 32 to that. Once you got that plugged in, you're going to hit enter, and our answer is 5. So that means that -15 degrees Celsius is equal to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, y'all, so we would go to MathLab and put that in. And I think this one was actually multiple choice. So we're happy we see a 5 degrees there, right? So click that 5 and move on, okay? All right, y'all, this one is on y'all. Y'all have to answer this one. Is this a function? Yes or no? All right, so Names, you switch back, Sylvester. All righty. So good job, y'all. It is definitely a function because the first domain value of 7 only points to one range value. The second domain value, 11, only points to one range value. And then the third range domain of 18 only points to one number. So since each of them domains only points to one number, that is yes, a function. Okay. So different domains can share a range value, okay? But a domain cannot go to two different ranges. All right, y'all. So we click that. Yes, we would go to our next. All right, y'all. Let me get these problem wrote down, and we'll go work this one by hand. So they're giving me f of x equals negative 2x plus 2. Now, this is similar to number 1. The difference is instead of using a y, they're using an fx on this problem. And they're actually giving me the numbers to use for my x's. So they want me to use a negative 2, 0, and a 2. So let's go get our numbers. That way we'll have our points, and then we'll come back and graph it. All right, so what I need to do is put these three x's in for those x's and then find these these f of x's, okay? So I'll start with negative 2 going in. All right, so put a negative 2 in for x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 will give us 6. All right, we'll put a 0 in for the x. Well, negative 2 times 0 is 0. Plus 2 gives us a 2. So I got my second point, and then put a 2 in. So negative 2 times 2 plus 2. So negative 2 times 2 is a negative 4. Negative 4 plus 2 gives me a negative 2. So I've got the 3 points. Now, listen, this is going to be the graph of a line for number 5. That means we will use the 2-point line tool on this one. So y'all, since it's just 2 points, I'm just going to plot the first 2 points I got over here. I don't have to plot all 3 of these. I only need 2 points for that line tool, okay? So let's go graph these points and see our line. All right, so first you got to put in your answers and check them. So we got a 6, 2, and negative 2. So you got to come down and click on enlarge graph. All right, so remember, I got to use the line tool up here, the straight line. I'm going to plot negative 2, 6. So go left 2, up 6. All right, so that's showing negative 2, 6 in the yellow banner. And then I'm going to plot my other point, 0, 2. So go to 0, up 2. All right, it's showing 0, 2 in the banner. Click that. So you only needed 2 points to draw that line. So then we're going to save that and go on to the next. All right, y'all, let me draw this one now. So this one is f of x equals 1 minus absolute value of x. And I'll do this one on the calculator too to show y'all where to get the absolute value. But y'all, to get absolute value, I'll hit the math button, arrow right to the number button, and then the first choice you see is the ABS. That's for absolute value, okay? So All right, y'all, let me write these numbers. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. All right, so I'm going to go to the pad, work this to get my 5 numbers, and then we'll come back and play with graphing it. Now, absolute value. This will be a 2-point absolute value tool. But that bottom point in the V, that is the first point we got to plot. Now, the point over here that'll correspond to that V is going to be your middle point. The middle point we get will be the first one we plot, and then we can plot any of the other 4. But y'all, this middle point has to be first, okay? All right, y'all, so let's get we got 1 minus absolute value -2. I'll have 1 minus absolute value -1. 1 minus absolute value of 0. 1 minus absolute value of 1. And then 1 minus absolute value of a 2. So y'all got the chat popping. So what is the answer to this one? 1 minus the absolute value of 2. All right, Madden, good job. Because you bring over the 1 minus absolute value of -2 is a 2. And the good job, 1 minus 2 is -1. All right, y'all, how about 1 minus the absolute value of a -1? So 0, good job, because that's 1 minus absolute value -1 is 1. And 1 minus 1 is 0. All right, now we got absolute value 0. What's the next one going to give us? All right, good job, because that's 1 minus 0, which is 1. All right, y'all put in a positive 1. What are you getting? All right, good job. 1 minus, because absolute value 1 is 1. So you're starting to see a little symmetry on this graph, member. So 1 minus absolute value of 2. Good job. That is a -1. So see, this first point we plot is that little vertex, but then look on each side of it. Your points, they start getting what we call symmetric to each other. The absolute value -2 gave me the same answer as the absolute value of 2 and so on, okay? Now, we're going to plot this point first in the middle and then any of the other points we want to plot. And we're going to use a 2-point absolute value tool, okay? All right, y'all, so let me get back to Math Lab. First, you'll have to put in your numbers. You had -1, 0, 1, 0, and a -1. So put all those answers in and then click on it to enlarge your graph. Grab that 2-point absolute value tool. And remember, the first point of plot has to be the 0, 1. Click that one. Now, y'all watch this. I'm going to show you. I'm going to start it over so y'all can see something here. Watch when I click the V. See what it's saying in the yellow? It says click the graph to plot the vertex. Well, the vertex is that middle point, okay? All right, so 0, 1. All right, I'm going to plot that point 1, 0. That one looks easy, so go over 1, stay at 0, and click it. So upside down V, save that. And then, y'all, we're going to our next one. All right, this is on y'all. Let me make this graph just a little bigger for you. Is that graph, Levester, that was quick. Is that graph a function? And y'all are all correct. Because remember, if you draw a vertical line down that graph, the vertical line would intersect it twice, which means it's not a function. Okay. So if you got a graph that looks anything like mine, you got to put no on that, okay? All right, y'all. So this one, I'm going to make this graph a little bigger because we got to use this graph to answer these questions. And I'll sort of tell y'all what we got to do as we go. So first for A, they want f of 3. So what I need to know is what is the y value you get when your x value is 3? So you're going to come find 3 on this x-axis. Once you get to 3 on the x-axis, you're going to go straight up. And yeah, you got it already. That looks like a 2 to me. So good job. Good job on that. So you put a 2 in for that, okay? So on number 1, you're looking for the y value when the x is 3, okay? Now, the domain. Y'all got A, B, C, D, or E. And if we got to put in numbers, let me know. But on the domain, we're looking at all the x values that are covered by this graph. Well, these arrows are pointing to the right towards positive infinity. It's pointing toward the left towards negative infinity. So if this graph is heading out towards negative infinity and positive infinity for those x values, we're going to say that that is all real numbers. So you would choose option E. Okay? Because it's pointing to the right and pointing to the left. Okay? All right, y'all. C says, for what x values does f of x equal 2? Y'all, what that means is they're telling me the y value is 2. So I need to find the x value for all the points on the graph that have a y value of 2. So I'm going to go to the y-axis and find 2, and then I'm going to follow that horizontal line to the right. Well, y'all, my cursor's on the first point where it's intersecting the graph. And if you go straight down, that is a 3. Good job. So 3 is my first number. Then I got to put my comma in. And y'all, let's keep on going. So we keep going across that horizontal line. And we get a second point where the graph is crossing it. And Tanner, let me see. Yeah, that does look like a 7. So good job. So check this out, y'all. Part A will have one answer. Part B will be all real numbers because your graph is going to be a V just like mine. Part C, you're going to have 2 x values for that answer every single time, okay? And then, y'all, your domain will be the same as the domain I get on this one. I mean, the range. The ranges will be the same. So what is our range? Our range is looking at my y values. And y'all look at that. Both ends of the arrow are pointing up. So that means that my y values are never down here in the negative numbers. So for that one, we're going to say that our range will be the y such that y is greater than or equal. Well, y'all, what was the y value we said it had to be if you're sitting on the x-axis? because my very smallest point is sitting down there at that V. So the y value of the x-axis, y'all, that is go a little lower, y'all. Remember, if you're sitting on this x-axis right here for that point, that is definitely 0 on the x-axis. Y'all listen. A will be a different number. C might be two different numbers. But part B and part D, y'all going to get the same answer as I got on those two parts, okay? The domain will be all real numbers on this one. The range will be greater than or equal to 0. All right, y'all, then we moved on to number 9. So they want me to find the domain. I got g of x equals 10 over 2 minus 9x. So let me solve that in real quick, and then we will put in our answer. So since this is a domain problem, the only thing I was worried about was fractions. Well, that's what they gave me. So what I got to do is set the bottom of this fraction equal to 0 and solve it. Once I solve that for the x, that number will be kicked out of my domain, okay? So y'all, to solve this, we're going to move the 2 over by subtracting. All right, so the 2's cancel. I got a negative 9x equals a negative 2. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 9. So that cancels, and I get my x equals. Oh, y'all, look at that. A negative divided by negative will be a positive. And I can't do nothing with the 2/9. So that's going to be a positive 2 over 9. So our domain will be the x such that x is a real number and x cannot equal 2/9. Because we know if we put 2/9 in there, that's going to equal 0 and make it undefined, okay? So y'all, we want to answer looking sort of like that right there. So we would go back. So I had not equal to 2/9. So for me, it looks like A. Okay. All right, then you go to next. All right, number 10 here, f of x equals negative 13x plus 19. G of x equals x squared plus 5. They want me to find f of negative 9 plus g of negative 9. All right, so we start getting into the algebra of the functions. And they're giving me numbers to put into this. So y'all, since they're giving me these numbers, when we're done, we will come up with a single number, okay? All right, so I'm adding two functions. So that's going to be f plus g of a negative 9. That'll equal my f plus my g. And I'm going to put a negative 9 in for these x's. So you got negative 13 times negative 9 plus 19 in the first parentheses. Over here, we'll have negative 9 squared plus 5. So remember, always put negative numbers in parentheses when you got exponents. All right, now I'm going to work inside each of my parentheses, okay? So y'all, we need to know what 13 times 9 is. So let's see, 13 times 9, I'm getting what? 117 plus 19. And a negative times a negative made that a positive. Over here, negative 9 times negative 9 is 81. So that'll give you 81 plus 5. All right, so at this point, now you can put it in right here, just like that looks like in your calculator, and it'll spit out the answer. So y'all, let's see, 117 plus 19. Oh, that's giving me 136. And since that's the last thing I had to do, I'm dropping parentheses. That'll be plus this 81 plus 5, which is 86. All right, y'all, add them together. Oh, there you already got that. Yeah, good job. That is going to be 222. So they give you numbers to put in for those x's. You're going to get one single number on that, okay? So you'll come back. You're going to put in 222 and then go to next. All right, y'all. So 11 should be another one of these. So 11 f of x equals negative 17x plus 2. G of x equals x squared plus 5. They want me to find f of 7 divided by g of 7. Now, y'all pay attention on this one. For some reason, this one gives people the most fits on this test, okay? And it's because they're losing signs or doing the wrong reducing or something, okay? So, f divided by g of 7. I'm going to put my f on top, my g on bottom, and I'm putting a 7 in for these x's, okay? So this one will be negative 17 times 7 plus 2. On bottom, I'll have 7 squared plus 5. So y'all, on top, we would multiply first. So negative 17 times 7. Oh, y'all, that's a negative what? Let's see, 70 and 49, negative 119 plus my 2. On bottom, we're going to square the 7 first. So 7 times 7 is 49 plus our 5. All right, let's add the top. Negative 119 plus 2 is the negative 117. 49 plus 5 is 54. So this might be hard to reduce, but let me show you a trick. I got a calculator I can use. So I'm going to go to my calculator. And let me clear out my memory here. So I had a negative 117 divided by 54. Or you can put it in just like a fraction, like it looks. But I'm going to hit enter and get a decimal out of that. And I'm going to turn the decimal back into a fraction now. So I'm going to hit math and enter twice. Enter, enter. Notice it gave me the reduced fraction, a negative 13 over 6. So if your fraction will reduce, it'll give you the reduced answer. If your fraction does not reduce, then it would have gave you the same thing back, okay? All right, y'all, so I got so I think MathLab, y'all got that fraction thing down here. So we had what, a negative 13 on top and a 6 on bottom. All right, y'all, at that point, go to next. All right, so 12, they're not giving me numbers. Negative 5x plus 3. G of x is x squared plus 4. We're going to find f plus g of an x. So, y'all listen. On this one, they're not giving me a number to put in. All we can do with this problem is simplify it. We're not going to be able to get rid of the x's because we don't got numbers for them, okay? So we will have answers with x's in the final answer. So here we go. F plus g of x will equal my f plus my g. F is a negative 5x plus 3. G is the x squared plus 4. All right, so the nice thing about adding is you can straight drop them parentheses. And they'll keep the same sign as they had. Subtraction's the one we got to worry about, okay? Now, I'm going to add like terms and put it in order. So I only got one x squared, so I'm bringing that down. The only x term is the negative 5x, so I'm bringing that down. But my like terms are these two numbers here. And 3 plus 4 will give us a 7. So in MATLAB, we're going to put x squared minus 5x plus 7. All right, also that'll be the x. Come down here and square that. Arrow back down. And then we had minus 5x plus 7. All right, y'all, you put that in. Click next. Oh, look at this. This one is subtraction. So y'all, f of x equals negative 4x plus 2. G of x equals x squared minus 4. They want us to find g minus f of x. So once again, they did not give us a number to put in for the x. So that means we will have x's in our final answer. And all we can do is simplify stuff like we did up here, okay? All right, y'all. So g minus f of x will be the first function minus the second. Notice it's g minus f. So g is going in the first parentheses, x squared minus 4. F is going in the second parentheses, negative 4x plus 2. All right, y'all, so we would drop parentheses, bring down that x squared minus 4 for the first one. What I want to know, y'all write in my chat, what's the two next things that we're putting here? When you drop these second parentheses, what would y'all put? So it's going to be a plus 4x. All right, keep going, Taylor. How about that? What's going to happen to the 2? So good job. That's going to be minus 2. Because remember, that negative times negative made that one positive. But then you got that negative times that positive, which is going to make it negative. All right, y'all. So that one sign is what kills people, okay? So make sure you distribute that negative through those parentheses. All right, y'all. Bring down the x squared, the positive 4x, and then your like terms are a negative 4 and a negative 2, which will give us a negative 6. All right, y'all. So you'd put that into MATLAB now. All right, y'all, once you got that put in there, you're going to hit next. All right, y'all, so let me write these down. F of x equals 1 over x minus 1. G of x equals 4x to the third. They want me to find the domain of the sum, difference, and product. Now, we also learned doing homework with this section that the sum, difference, and product always had the same domain. So if I can figure out the domain of the first one, I know what's going to happen to the next of them, okay? So the sum would be f plus g of x. That's going to equal your f plus your g. So y'all, are there any numbers we're worried about on these functions being added? Or will this work for all real numbers? And y'all, we're only worried about fractions when we talk about domain, remember? Well, we got a fraction here. So we're going to have to set x minus 1 equal to 0 and see what we get out of that. So to solve that, you're going to add 1 and you get x equals 1. That means if you put a 1 in for the x, 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 divided by 0 is undefined. And undefined can't add to this 4x to the third, okay? So we're only worried about the denominator of a fraction when we're talking about the domain. So my domain is x such that x is a real number and x cannot equal 1. Now y'all look at this. If you're subtracting these, are there any numbers you're wanting to kick out of this domain for subtracting? Or is it going to be all real numbers? Well, we still got a fraction here, remember? So I can't subtract these if this x is a 1 down here, remember? Because 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 divided by 0 is undefined. And it's definitely going to be the same as the first. All right, y'all, if we're multiplying these things together, I got my f, 1 over x minus 1 times my g, 4x to the third. Any numbers we're kicking out of that domain? All right, what are y'all saying? Same. Exactly. It's going to be the same. You still can't multiply that if that x is a 1, because 1 minus 1 will give you a 0 again. Makes it undefined. So y'all notice these will always, all three, have the same domain. 100%, they're always going to have the same domain, okay? Because we're not ever making them into fractions. So if you do have a fraction in here, you better make sure you kick out any numbers that make that denominator equal 0. So Now, y'all, here's what you got to do here. You actually got to put the X, the not equal, and then the 1. Then you got to come down here, put the X, not equal, 1. Then come to the third one, X, not equal, 1. You got to write that in 3 times on that one, okay? All right, then you go to next. All right, y'all, let me write my numbers down. I'm doing these on the calculator. So I got X plus Y plus Z equals 9. 2X plus 4Y plus 2Z equals 30. And then a negative X plus 7Y minus 3Z equaled 43. So I'm going to use my matrix on the calculator to solve this. So y'all let me go to that calculator. But y'all are going to help me on this one. So my question is, if I want to put this matrix into that calculator, what buttons are you hitting to get me there? All right, second x negative 1. So here we go. Second x negative 1. We're going to edit. Good job. And to edit, we're just going to hit enter. And it's still a 3 by 4 because I had 3 rows and my 4 columns. So I'm going to hit enter on 3 and 4. All right, y'all, my numbers are 1, enter, 1, enter, 1, enter, and a 9. All right, enter that. Go to the next row. 2, enter, 4, enter, 2, enter, and 30, enter. All right, then we had a negative 1 for the negative x, enter. 7y, negative 3 for the z, and then 43 and enter. All right, I got the matrix in there. I'm going to quit now by hitting second mode. All right, so Don, Sylvester, you got this matrix in there. Now I'm ready to start doing my math to it. So, what are you hitting next? Okay, so y'all looks like y'all are getting me to math and RREF. So second, x negative 1 for matrix. We're arrowing over to math. And then we're going to go down and get the RREF. Y'all be careful. There's a REF and a RREF. All right, y'all, last step. Go get that matrix. So second, x negative 1, and enter. All right, y'all. So the right side, that right column will be my answers in alphabetical order. So that means x is 5, y is 6, and my z will be negative 2. All right, y'all, let's go and put that in. And they already give you the parentheses. So we just got to put in the numbers here. All right, so we got our numbers in. We're going to hit next. All right, y'all, I'm going to write this one down. This has been killing people. The first number is 50 more than the sum of the other two numbers. So let me we got it wrote down. So let's go work this one because, y'all, every time I've seen this problem, it's almost been the same exact question. They might change the 50, but I don't know. I've always seen it being the same, okay? But it's always got equal to something more than the sum of the other two numbers. So your answers are going to look extremely close to mine, okay? So first, let's just translate this. Y'all don't know that first number. So since we don't know the first number, we're going to call that X. Right here you see is. When you see is, you're going to put your equals. Now this is 50 more, so that means we're going to be adding 50. And that 50 is more than the sum of the other two numbers. Well, sum means these numbers are being added. Now, I don't know these other two numbers, so I'm going to let that be Y and Z. So that's the sum of the other two numbers. And we still got what? 50 more. So that'll be plus 50. So this is the translation. But the final answer, all these variables have to be on one side, okay? So let me ask y'all this. How are you going to move this Y and this Z to the other side? Oh, yeah, I think you got it there, Sylvester. Is that a subtraction? Yeah, you're going to subtract both of these. You're going to subtract a Y. You're going to subtract a Z from both sides. So y'all, I see those cancel, those cancel. All that's going to be left over there is the 50. What are you going to write as that left side, though? And put them in alphabetical order. So Don, perfect. X minus Y minus Z equals 50. Okay. So if they're both being added on this side, they'll both be subtracted when we move them to the other side, okay? And y'all, I'll tell you on that when a lot of people put X plus Y plus Z equals 50. But remember, all three of these ain't being added because they're not on the same side. And the second one's got one being subtracted, one being added. But y'all, we definitely need to go with the X minus Y minus Z. So Don, that was perfect. Um, let's go to next. All right, so 17, we're going to come up with our matrix, and then I'm going to knock it out on that calculator, okay? So the sum of three numbers is 61. The difference of the largest and smallest so the difference of the largest and smallest is 47. And then the sum of the two smaller numbers is 18. So they want us to find the numbers. And they want them to go from largest to smallest. Okay. So let's come up with our little matrix and then we'll go put that in. So since we got three numbers, I will put my large one first, my middle, and then my smallest number, and then my answer. So y'all, what are you putting for this? The sum of three numbers is 61. Well, that'll be x plus y plus z equals 61. So y'all, I gave y'all the first one. One of y'all tell me what you're putting on this next sentence. The difference of the largest and the smallest is 47. All right, so what do I need to write over here? X minus z, good job. You got an x minus z equaled 47. So let me ask y'all this. When I put this into the matrix, there's not a letter here. So what would y'all put here? So 0, good job. All right, y'all. So y'all got one more equation for me. The sum of the two smaller numbers is 18. Oh, Taylor, oh, you're so close. But remember, we want the two smaller numbers. Yeah, because remember that x is my largest number, so my two smaller ones would be my y plus my z equals 18. And in place of this x, guess what? We're putting a 0. So we're going to do a 1, 1, 1, 61, 1, 0, negative 1, 47, and then 0, 1, 1, 18. Okay? So y'all, let's go throw that on that calculator. So let me clear everything off. All right, so we'll go back to the matrix, x negative 1. We're going to edit. And y'all, I still got a 3 by 4 on here. So I'm going to enter for the 3, enter for the 4. And then I had 1, 1, 1, 61. All right, then we had what, a 1, 0, negative 1, 47. All right, enter that. In the last row, I had a 0, 1, 1, 18. All right, enter all those in, and all my numbers are good up in my matrix. So I'm going to quit the screen. We're going to go get that RREF now. So second matrix, arrow to math, and then down to RREF. Enter. And y'all, I'm going to go back and get that matrix now. Second, x negative 1, and enter. All right, y'all, remember, my answers will be in order from the large, middle, and small number in the right column. So my largest number is 43, and then I had 22, and then negative 4. All right, y'all, so you just got to be careful with MathLab because, see, they want them in order of the biggest, 43, the middle, 22, and then my smallest, negative 4. All right, you got all them in. You're going to hit next. All right, y'all, this one you could do on the calculator, but it's really quicker to just do it by hand, I think. Yeah, because you're not doing much to them other than adding them. So let me see what I got. I got 10 pounds of tomatoes. I got 50 pounds of zucchini and 30 pounds of onions. So they want me to write a 1x3 matrix. And then B, we're going to find a matrix that represents an increase of 10%. And then C, we're just going to add them together. But these ain't bad doing them by hand. So let me see. And then I'll show you what kills people on the test, okay? So they want me to write a 1x3 matrix representing these amounts. So MathLab will have an A equals and then a blank. Y'all, to get this answer right, when you click in the answer blank, down on the bottom, well, y'all, let's actually do the one in MathLab. Let me go back to it. Because, yeah, we don't need to work this one out. It's easy. So go to A and click in it. Down here on the bottom, do you see where my cursor is? There's like brackets with 4 squares in them. That's the matrix notation. So click that, and it's going to bring up a size for our matrix. Well, we're doing a 1 row by 3 columns. So see, now it's made of 3 answer blanks when I hit enter. In the first answer, I'm putting the 10 pounds for the tomatoes. The second one will be the 50 pounds for the zucchini. And then the third one will be the 30 pounds for the onions. Now it says, write the entries for B, and up here it says, we want to represent matrix B as this order increased by 10%. So I'm going to go to B. It's going to be the same size. So I'm going to go to the matrix. I'm going to make that a 1x3. Okay. Now, y'all, each of them 3 numbers, since we're going up by 10%, we're going to multiply each one of them numbers by 1.1. 1.1 is decimal form for 110%. Your original 100% plus the 10%. So 10 by 1.1, Professor, that's 11. Good job. 50 times 1.1 is 55. And then good job, 33 for the other one. So y'all, 10% of 10 is 1. 10 plus 1 is 11. 10% of 50 is 5. 5 plus 50 was 55, and so on. Now, part C wants me to add the 2 matrices. Well, when you add 2 matrices, the answer will be the same size matrix. So we're going to click matrix, make that a 1x3, hit OK. All right, y'all, give me my 3 items I'm putting in when y'all add them together. Ooh, y'all are quick. Ooh, y'all are quick. Good job. 21, 105, and 63. All right, good job, y'all. And then remember, that represents the total produce orders for 2 weeks. So let's see, which one is that? Looks like D on that one, okay? Because remember, that was his first week's order. He did 10% on the second week. So together, they're the total produce order for 2 weeks. All right, y'all, then we hit next. All right, y'all, y greater than x minus 5. I'm going to do it by hand. It's not bad to do by hand. So let me go to my pad. And really, to do it by hand, to start off with, I just need two x values. Once we graph it, we'll figure out what kind of line we're going to do and whether we're going to shade above or below. So y'all, for this one, well, hell, y'all give me two x values y'all are picking. So 0 and 1, that'll work. So let's see, 0 minus 5 is -5. 1 minus 5 is -4. Don, yours would have worked really good too, because 5 minus 5 would have gave me a 0 for that y. And then 6 minus 5 would have gave me a 1 for that one, okay? So either one of those would have worked. All right, we're going to go plot these two numbers. 0, -5, 1, -4. So I'm going to click to enlarge my graph. Uh-oh, y'all, my first question for y'all is this. Do y'all want me to use that solid line, which it is by default, or would y'all like me to use a dashed line? All right, so, oh, y'all got both going on, but for this one, it would be dashed. Remember, it's dashed since there's not an equals under that, okay? So click the dashed line, click your line tool now, and let's plot the 2 points, 0, -5, and then we had what, 1, -4. So y'all got the two lines graphed on a dotted line. So redeem yourself and tell me this. Would y'all shade that above or below? All right, greater than, definitely. So I'm going to click the paint can, and then I'm going to go above. All right, y'all, good job on that. And so you do that. So the trick on this, watch out for that line, okay? It might be solid or it might be dashed. Most of the time it's dashed on this one, so you gotta choose the dash line tool before you click the line, okay? All righty, y'all. So this one was the one where we had to find this region where it double shaded. um, Now you're not going to be able to graph them in MathLab. All you can do is look at the final answer here. So by hand, you would graph each of them lines and then shade where they needed to be, okay? So let me do it by hand, and then I'll see if y'all remember doing this one on the calculator. So let me erase that. I'm going to put that one here. Y less than or equal to 4 minus x. So over here, I'll graph this line, points. And then over there, you can get points for the second one. But y'all, really, this is all this extra work if you're using the calculator, okay? I'm just going to use zeros and ones for all my x's. And then when I get them, we'll sort of sketch it and see how it might shade, okay? So 0 goes in, 0 plus 5 is 5. 1 goes in, 1 plus 5 is 6. So let me ask y'all, on the first line I'm about to draw, is it solid or dashed? Oh, y'all got solid, so good job because it's got those equals under them, okay? All right, y'all, let me finish drawing this and then we will. All right, so 0, 5, so 0, up 5. And then I had right 1 and up 6. So that's a solid line going down through there. Now, let me ask you this. Would y'all shade that first line above or below? So we're shading the first one above because it's greater. Good job. I'm trying to use colors that we can see to overlap in. All right, y'all. So let's play with this second one. We'll put a 0 in for the x. 4 minus 0 is 4. I put a 1 in for the x. 4 minus 1 is 3. So let's see. Same, going to be solid again because it equals. So 0 up 4. And then right 1 up 3. So that one was also solid. Does that one shade above or below? So good job. That one's going to shade below the line down here. Now, y'all, look at my picture. The answer's the double shaded region on here. Look at this, and then tell me what y'all are picking on these 4 choices, okay? Are y'all picking A, B, C, or D? All right, so let me see. Y'all are starting to pop in D, D, and a D question. Well, guess what? Look at that D right there and go look at my graph. And the only shaded regions where they overlap was that triangle to the left right there. And I think that's what y'all picked with that D, okay? So D is definitely the right answer on that one. Y'all listen here. Every time I've ever done this number 20, it's been the graph that's shaded on the left side like this, because you're going to have above one line and below the other one, okay? So if I'm totally lost, I'm going to pick the one that looks like that before I pick the other 3, okay? All righty, y'all. So that's the 20 questions you got. So you do that last one, then you're going to click submit your quiz, and it'll say, are you sure? And then you submit it. Okay. All right, y'all, listen here. I sent an announcement and an email the other day for bonus points for the first test. And you just got to send me the answer. I think it was subtracting some functions or something. Send me that answer somehow. And then when you do the test, I'll add 5 points to it. So that's a half a letter grade. It'll turn an 85 into an 80, 95 into 100. Hell, it'll turn 100 into a 105. Okay. So do the bonus because that's easy points. Test is due Sunday night at midnight, okay? So do the review quiz because the review quiz counts as the quiz grade anyway, and it's going to give you a look at the test on your own, okay? The review quiz matches the test perfectly other than the numbers. You can do the review quiz as many times as you want, okay? All righty, y'all. So any questions? Now, y'all, let me give y'all one more thing to remember. If you're struggling with that review quiz, remember Sunday night, I'll do my office hours online from 7 to 8:30. if you need more help on that review before you're able to do the test, y'all can come to those office hours and I can share screens and y'all can share screens and I can sort of figure out what might be hurting you, okay? So the link to my office hours is in I think it's right under the folder for the Zoom link in Blackboard, okay? So Ari, that was Sunday night. So yeah, Sunday night at 7, okay? All right, y'all, I've got everybody on my row here. So um any more questions? All right, y'all, I will have this video. It'll take it about 30 to 45 minutes to get it uploaded because it's a longer time. But as soon as I get it uploaded, I'll place that email out to you. And okay, so Aubriana, what do you mean 7 and not 11:59? My office hours on Sunday will be at 7. Um, but the test won't be due till 11:59 midnight, okay? Yeah. So yeah, the test is due midnight on Sunday. So that way, at least if y'all are struggling, we can get you fixed and then you can knock it out and be done with it, okay? All righty, y'all. I guess I will see y'all either next Tuesday or if you need me, I'll see you Sunday night, okay? All righty, y'all have a good one too, and I'll see y'all then.